Okay, you may have noticed this, but in recent times, I will say, Trump has been commenting in a very creepy and at times morbid way about men's looks. And I really it is something. I just have to show you a couple of recent examples in case you didn't see them.
Beautiful, beautiful son. Handsome in every way. He's young and he's handsome, which I don't like. I'm not happy about it. So I'd say he's handsome also. And he's a very nice guy. He's a charming guy, good-looking guy.
I mean, listen, that's a pretty common theme there. And just to in case you were wondering who those people were and you didn't quite pick them all out, those weren't random people there. I mean, that was the president of Lebanon, the Iraqi prime minister, Mayor Mamdani is also somebody whose looks he has definitely commented on. And the funny part about this is that some of these people are getting asked about it. And Mayor Mamdani was asked about what he thought about Trump calling him handsome. And the response is also funny. Okay, I'm going to play that too.
What do you think about him constantly saying how handsome you are?
Thank you.
We'll take it, I guess.
Okay, I love it so much. Okay, so there's that. But Mamdani's reaction was just, I mean, it was just a reminder of how freaking weird these comments are. And those were some examples that are pretty recent, but this is a consistent thing. And this all made me think of that time. Do you remember that time where Donald Trump was talking about Arnold Palmer and seeing him in the locker room? This was back in 2024, but I just have to play it.
But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. This is a guy that was all man. His man was strong and tough, and I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
I mean, I have rarely met more public officials who've commented more on men's bodies, but here we are. Now, the thing about this is not just about his kind of creepy, again, way he comments on men and men's bodies and how handsome they are on the regular basis. It's also what he values, right? Which is what is so interesting. And Regime Change, the book by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan, talked about how when he was figuring out who he wanted to be in his cabinet, this was also important. I just want to read a part of this. Trump was often fixated on male beauty. His appraisal of a job seeker's handsomeness could be a prerequisite for the most highly visible administration post, but he liked his enforcers to look like enforcers. Again, it's like central casting, but he likes people who are on, Fox News cable hosts. We already know that. And this also played a role, and this was also in the Regime Change book, in picking J.D. Vance. And here's what he said about that. They said, Trump thought Vance was brilliant, a great intellect, and he often remarked on how impressive it was that Vance had gotten into Yale without having a rich father. And then they also said that Trump thought he was handsome too, and that nobody did better than Vance sparring on CNN against tough interviewers. Okay, a lot packed in there. But he definitely mentioned he thought Vance was handsome because that's one of his qualifications, in addition to loyalty. I mean, if you are an election denier and you're good looking, watch out. You may be in Trump's cabinet next. That seems to be the qualifications. Okay, here's another thing that I thought was weird. I'm trying to wrap my head around what to think about it. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's a combination of all of them, because Laura Loomer has made a huge about face on Ukraine. And I definitely did not have this on my bingo card, but just as a reminder, I mean, Laura Loomer for years has called U.S. military aid to Ukraine a misuse of taxpayer dollars. She's accused Ukraine of harboring Nazis. She's been a big critic of U.S. support for Ukraine. And now she has decided to apologize on social media for minimizing the struggle of Ukrainians during this years-long war with Russia. I guess better late than never, several years into the war. And she's done this by posting various pictures of herself outside what she says is the oldest McDonald's in Ukraine. There's Laura Loomer, I guess, enjoying a Big Mac outside of a destroyed building. It seems, I don't know, it seems AI or superimposed, but she was apparently actually there. And she also posted a bunch about the tweets. I can't get over it. What is this, a McDonald's commercial? What is happening? A lipstick commercial? Anyway, she posts also, I feel like such an asshole for minimizing the struggle of Ukrainians for the last 5 years. I often said I don't care. Looking back, that wasn't very nice of me to say. There are people in Ukraine who have to run a bomb shelter every day, and some of us had the audacity to say Russia wasn't wrong because we believed the lie that Ukraine is a country full of Nazi sympathizers. Okay, some of you, I mean, yes, I guess that's Laura Loomer fessing up there to some degree. Now, there's so many questions here, including the McDonald's photo shoot. But beyond that, it's like, how did she get there? You can't just like arrive in the middle of Ukraine. How did this happen? What happened? Well, it looks like Laura Loomer interviewed President Zelensky. There is a photo of it. She posted it. So there is that. So my guess here, it seems, and this doesn't really take Sherlock Holmes, is that he invited her there because he knows her audience includes Donald Trump. It includes MAGA. It includes right-wing folks. And maybe she'll have an influence there. I don't really know, but we will certainly see. And the thing about all of this I keep thinking about is Laura Loomer. Imagine if you opened your eyes up to the world, all of the many, many things you would discover you were wrong about. Maybe people should invite her to tours of rural hospitals that are closing, or I don't know. There's lots of ideas we could throw out there. Data centers. Come on, Laura Loomer. You can do a tour and like reopen your world. Okay. Last week, this other thing happened that's also kind of funny and a little bizarre in terms of how it's been implemented, because last week the Department of Justice issued new guidance that the new version of the TikTok app does not pose data or national security risks. We couldn't use it when I was in government. I don't know what's massively changed aside from the fact that now a good buddy of Trump's owns it. But now federal officials are basically allowed to use TikTok. So what does that mean? It means that they're all coming out and launching their handles on TikTok, launching their accounts on TikTok. And some have done it better than others. I don't know that some have done it well, but I'm just going to give you a taste, because there's this trend on TikTok, you've probably seen it, where people basically are parenting the moment in their life they would make into some version of a documentary. And they sit down, you've probably seen this, but I'm going to show you one on terms of how it should be done. So yes, you will recognize this person. It's none other than Snooki. Let's watch that just to give you a sense. First of all, there might actually be a good documentary on the Jersey Shore. Who knows? That's how it's supposed to be done. The music, a topic that is like central to this person's life, that sort of gist. Here is Markwayne Mullin attempting to do the same thing, I guess.
Okay, hold up. Where's my ball? Okay, well, I guess we're on TikTok.
Nope. That's not what we do here. That's not the trend, which is not even that hard to pull off. I'm just going to note. But no, Markwayne Mullin, the rocket scientist that he is, could not quite pull that off. It was already kind of getting ruined, but I think he's officially ruined that trend for me. I don't know what the stress ball is all about, but apparently he felt it was a necessary prop. Okay. Another thing in terms of the PR foibles, shall we call them, of the Republican Party this week is Olive Garden has become this central thing in the Republican Party messaging right now. It's found itself in quite a political debate, I will say. I don't think that was their intention. Now, Olive Garden, I should note, brought back its never-ending pasta pass. You may have not known it existed. Maybe you're somebody who enjoys it thoroughly. Either way, you basically need to present your photo ID in order to use it. Okay, so that is what it is. You pay a fee, then you got to present your ID. And so naturally, a number of Republicans have concocted this completely false, stretchy, insane talking point about how Olive Garden's never-ending pasta policies are comparable with, or maybe even more strict than voting in the United States elections, okay? They basically ran with the opportunity to shame, after this pasta policy of Olive Garden was announced, to shame Democrats, use this as an opportunity to shame Democrats about their effort to make it easier for people to participate in the voting process. Okay. And one of the people, it came up, I should note, 7 different times. I'm not going to show you all of those 7 different times. Steve Scalise tried to spin this. Okay, let's watch this.
Not a complicated subject. Again, anybody that gets on an airplane has to show a picture ID to vote. Nowadays, if you want to go to Olive Garden and get unlimited pasta, you got to show a picture ID. This isn't complicated stuff. Yet every Democrat is against these basic things.
I mean, first of all, they wrote that down. That went out on a talking point somewhere and was blasted to Republicans because, again, it was used 7 times. So I don't think they each individually came up with it. And the thing about it is like voting rights and never ending pasta at Olive Garden are obviously not the same thing. And I just think Jim McGovern put it really best. And other people have made this point, but he put it best. He said, voting is a constitutional right. It is not a lunch special. You have a constitutional right to vote. You don't have a constitutional right to a breadstick or a bowl of pasta. No kidding, Steve Scalise. A bowl of pasta is a right, one you can certainly enjoy, but don't make it harder for other people to vote by using your really silly and stupid analogy there. Okay. Speaking of things just to pay attention to with our elected officials, John Fetterman, good old John Fetterman, is just around, I feel like, to shake things up. And he's done a number of things that have raised some eyebrows, including mine as of late. He did a joint fundraising committee, set up a joint fundraising committee with his Pennsylvania Republican colleague and Senator David McCormick. Now, joint fundraising committees are not that uncommon, but doing one with a Republican is definitely uncommon. I mean, it is not a thing people do. And it made people nervous, and rightfully so, because there's a concern about whether this guy is actually going to stick with the Democratic Party. Now, the other thing that stuck out to me here is that his former chief of staff, Adam Gentleson, someone I know who's been in politics for a long time, who worked for Harry Reid, he's been around. He had this to say. He said, I think if he is the majority maker, he will flip because it would give him a massive amount of attention. Now, that tells you a lot about John Fetterman, but what it also means is that Democrats may need 5 Senate seats, not 4, or they may need to work toward 5 Senate seats in order to have the majority. And he's probably right. John Fetterman loves to be in the middle of things. He loves to be the center of attention. So if this guy's the deciding vote, could that guy flip? Seems like it's possible. His former chief of staff said it is. And it's just all a reminder of why participation in the process, even when it's frustrating, even when people are trying to scare you, is so important, no matter what Steve Scalise says about the Olive Garden and requiring your ID. It is important to fight for all these rights. But yeah, John Fetterman, we have our eyes on you.